The RFP, request for proposal. Brands put them out for marketing agencies to respond to with strategy and ideas to see if they can win that brand's business. At Brand Revolt, we don't feel like waiting around to be asked for help. So we started making RFPs on behalf of real brands that definitely didn't ask us to. This is Unsolicited RFPs.
We should probably lay out what the nature, or do you want to lay out what the nature of what the unsolicited RFP is, or do we just get into it and throw that tag on at the end?
I think it probably makes sense for the first conversation to tee it up a little bit. I mean, I've never seen this done before, but if we're going to be using content as our primary vehicle to build our brand and to build clients' brands, I thought it would be kind of fun, instead of just pitching in private and sending, proposals to people and having meetings that nobody else sees. Why not pitch in public? And so these are unsolicited RFPs where a company that didn't ask for us to build a marketing plan for them, we're doing it anyway, and we're doing it publicly, and we're going to tag them when we release it. And I think it might be really fun. And so each week or month or whatever cadence we decide to do this on, one of us is going to act as the client. The other one's going to act as Brand Revolt, the agency, and we're going to pitch. We'll see how it goes. Who knows? There may only be 3 episodes of this because nobody cares, but it may also be a really fun thing. People get to see how we think, and I don't know. I'm excited about it.
If nothing else, that's good practice for us, right?
That's right.
Some role playing. There you go. Okay, so today I am going to represent the client. I'm Black Desert Resort, which is a relatively new and very beautiful resort in southern Utah, near St. George, or pretty much in St. George, which has the resort aspect, all the different amenities you'd want to have a vacation. You got your pools, your spa situation, your restaurants, all that kind of stuff. Near the other entertainment, you got Tuacahn Broadway shows next door. You've got all the St. George attractions and things like that, the Red Rock, the hiking, all of that. And then, of course, a world-class golf course out there. Black Desert is the name of the golf course. Recently had, back in October of 2024, a PGA Tour event there, the Black Desert Championship. So relatively new. And so me as Black Desert Resort, I'm thinking about some things that I need. I've got 5 or 6 main objectives in my mind that I would need marketing to accomplish for me. First one is just continued brand awareness. I've made a pretty good splash because I'm not just a little hole-in-the-wall hotel. I'm a pretty good luxury experience. So I already have a little bit of attention, but I'm still new. And whether you're looking for the vacation aspect alone, or you're a golf enthusiast until, the last year or so, probably haven't heard about me, or you still haven't heard about me. So general brand awareness, I've got a spread. It's a nationwide attraction. And so I want everyone in the country to know about me for golf and or getaway. And then from that, of course, besides just the awareness, as any business, I've got to get that turning into conversion and leads. I understand that my business is not something people are going to book on a whim necessarily. It's not pocket change. It costs a little bit of money to come enjoy our experience. So you're probably going to plan a little bit in advance. So how can I get people into my system, so to speak, that I can continue to kind of nurture those leads and make them want to save up, plan ahead, and come out for the experience? So conversions. And then also being having the facilities that I have and the nature of what it is and the community I'm in, it's a big draw for events and meetings and things like that. So I want to host a lot of those things. I mean, people could have their wedding reception at my place, or they could have business events. They could do all kinds of stuff. And so I want people to see me as a location for events and not just vacation or golfing. So I guess I can get into some details further than that, but any questions as Brand Revolt, as my potential agency partner, anything I can clarify about those needs or objectives that I have?
Well, I think there's a lot of questions that I'll have, but step one, there's a reason we're doing Black Desert Resort first, right? When we talk about a dream client, I've actually had the opportunity to go down and play Black Desert Resort, the golf course, several times. The pro shop is like one of the most amazing pro shops I've ever been in. Played in a tournament down there, played with friends of mine down there, and I cannot imagine a more exciting client to be involved with. But But because of that, I also have a pretty good knowledge of what they've done so far. I actually have had Patrick Manning on my podcast a couple of times, called the Destination Marketing Podcast, and learned a lot about some of the things that they're doing. I would be so excited to work with Black Desert Resort. However, I would have some questions going into something like this. And one of those questions is, as far as a new resort goes, I'm not sure I could draw up a dream scenario better than what Black Desert has experienced over the course of the last year, right? So the golf course goes live, I'd say year and a half, because the golf course goes live just about a year and a half ago. And immediately there's intrigue. As someone who's tried to book tee times at Black Desert Resort, there is no shortage of golfers who know it exists, right? And so one of the things that I want to understand is, well, two things, I guess I would say. Number one is, if so many people already know about it, why are there billboards all up and down I-15? Why is marketing something that they want to focus on? Why would this RFP be going out, even though this is unsolicited RFP, right? So that's number one. But number two is target audiences, because golf courses are one target persona. But obviously, if you're gonna stay at a resort, you're either having like a buddies trip where multiple golfers are going down there, or this is going to be a golfer and their spouse, or this is going to be people that just want to go get away in the warmth in the wintertime and get away from the snow in northern Utah. So there's a lot of different people that could want to come stay at Black Desert Resort. I'd want to have a pretty clear understanding of who those different target personas are before I tried to build a marketing plan and a recommendation of how to solve for that.
Perfect. And I think, like you said, Black Desert Resort is well suited for a variety of reasons to meet those examples you just gave. It should be something that, whether you love golf or not, it should be a great place for you. Or if your spouse or partner or someone loves golf, that's there for them. There's plenty for non-golfers enthusiasts. At the resort is one thing, but Southern Utah already has a draw for a lot of reasons for all the outdoor adventure in the area. If you want to make Black Desert Resort your home base for your stay, perfect home base, very high quality premium home base. And you can go explore all the different I'm thinking, what are the nearest ones around there? Like,
nearest what?
Like the nearest main, like Moab's far away, but like what's like the nearest...
You've got Zion National Park, you've got Snow Canyon State Park, you've got you've got the Strip, the Arizona Strip. There's so many different things. I mean, Southern Utah has a plethora of outdoor activities that surround it. So there's an endless supply.
Yeah. I would say that over the big umbrella under which all of our the Black Desert target audiences would be are fairly affluent travelers looking for a luxury experience. It's not we think it's good value, of course, but it's not cheap. So it's people who have a little extra money to spend on a premium experience, whether that is golf, your hotel room itself, dining. It's affluent travelers. And so within that, underneath that umbrella, you've got the people who are really interested in the outdoor adventure that Southern Utah has to offer. There's an audience that could be fully focused on wanting to go and just have a really nice place to stay when they're done out in the dust and the outdoors during the day. There is the golf enthusiasts, people who are wanting to play golf, and occasionally when there's events, watch golf. Like the PGA Tour event obviously drew a lot of people who weren't actually playing but were spectating. So golf enthusiasts across the board. And then I would say those who are looking for kind of a staycation opportunity as well, because sometimes Southern Utah is a great place to be year round, and so you don't necessarily want to get away all the time, but you want to get away from your laundry pile in your house or the same four walls that you're always seeing. And so again, luxury experience, but it's a great place to stay, a home away from home as a staycation. And so there's I think that's kind of the three main categories I would say is outdoor enthusiasts for Southern Utah, golf enthusiasts, and then people who are relatively near, whether they're St. George or Utah or northern Arizona, that kind of have a staycation that they want just a luxury experience, get to the spa, have someone make food for them, things like that. That's what I would say.
And I guess the addition I would make there is you'd have to have a pretty high net worth or, annual income band to tie off there, right? Because we're not going to be, we're not discount pricing this thing, right? Like people are going to pay a premium to come stay. And so you would definitely want to filter each of those categories that you mentioned by a high net worth or high annual income band. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, this is a funny one because I know Black Desert Resort really well. I'll say that in the spirit of what makes us different from any other agency and why we've rebranded recently to brand Revolt is that we really believe in revolting from what we call the sea of sameness, where so many organizations are creating a catchy headline, using some beautiful imagery, and then having a call to action like book your stay today or something like that. And they're using a paid media centric approach. And in fact, if you drive up and down I-15, you can see that Black Desert Resort is currently employing what I would call that paid media centric strategy, right? And I think the challenge that is caused by that is that there's been a fundamental shift in consumer behavior over the last several years, where consumers are expecting more value than just the fact that you paid for the ability to be in front of them. In the past, you used to be able to do a media buy and reach such a large portion of the population, but attention has become so fragmented that just renting access to someone's news feed or putting up a billboard or whatever it is, that's not enough value for a potential customer to actually take action. And usually the value that they expect is in the form of either education or entertainment. And so with an organization like Black Desert Resort, I think there's such an opportunity to build a community around the brand. And golfers are some of the lowest hanging fruit because they're hungry for a community, especially when it comes to whether it's people to golf with or people, golf is a little bit like CrossFit. If you want to know if somebody does CrossFit, just listen to them for 5 minutes, and 4 of those minutes will be CrossFit. And golf is a lot of the same. You guys have both worked with me, and you know that golf is something I talk about all the time, right? And so the building a community around an asset like Black Desert Resort's golf course is not going to be a super challenging thing to do, but I can tell you that just putting a catchy headline in front of a bunch of people is not enough to get them to want to actually join the community. And with our organization, we believe in taking organizations through 3 steps. And number 1 is creating content that's going to provide that value to the potential visitor. And again, that can either be in the form of education or entertainment. And then we focus on using that content to build a community. And then once we've built the community around the brand, we leverage that community to ultimately influence commerce. And in Black Desert Resort's case, commerce is booking hotels, booking the dining establishments, making reservations there, booking the spa, booking tee times at the golf course, all the different things that you can do transactionally at Black Desert Resort. The problem is, because I call those transactions, a lot of people think that add to transaction is a linear path, and that linear path is not the same today as it was several years ago. And so a few of the ideas as we're thinking about, okay, then how do we create that content and put content at the center, and then use our other media channels like public relations, paid media, organic social media. How do we fuel all those other channels with this content? This is where we create what we call content pillars. And so I've got a couple of ideas of content pillars that I think would be really, really fun for Black Desert Resort. Number 1, Black Desert has entered into a partnership with the Utah Jazz, which again, I talk about the dream scenario, right? For a resort like this, they've already got a professional basketball team that they've got a strategic partnership with. And so I thought it would be really, really cool if you could have what I would call the Average Joe campaign, where you get these average Joes, guys that are there to golf, a foursome that's there together, and all of the sudden, a group of 4 NBA players shows up, right? And on the course, they're over on the putting green, which, by the way, Black Desert has this incredible, like, multi-acre, and maybe it's not multi-acre, but it's huge, putting green with a full 18-hole putting course, right? So you've got the guys over there warming up before their round. These NBA players walk up, and one of them says, hey, would you guys like to do a little game today where 3 of you will play with one of us, and then one of us will play with the other 3 of you, and our foursomes will compete in some way. And we do this for multiple episodes and build a season out of it. And then at the end of the season, you do some sort of competition where the average Joes, those foursomes, can come back and compete with each other for some sort of opportunity. Maybe it's sweet tickets at a Jazz game or front row seats at a Jazz game or something like that, to really amplify that partnership with the Utah Jazz. And if you think about a series like that, that could be a YouTube series, or it wouldn't even surprise me if a streaming platform like Peacock would want to pick this up, right? And so there's the pillar, but then you could slice up hundreds of little 1-2 minute videos that you could distribute on your social media channels to get people to go consume that series. And really, really good golf content, as you can see through the Good Golf, the Foreplay podcast. There's another one called Bob Does Sports. There's so many golf content creators that have created series that have just gone viral, like super viral. And you combine NBA players, an incredible backdrop like Black Desert Resort, and really fun interactions between average Joes, not to mention the intrigue of, holy cow, if me and my buddies go play Black Desert Resort, are a bunch of NBA players going to walk up to us and ask us if we want to go play with them, right? Like, that intrigue could be really, really fun. And I see that as a great vehicle to build a community around the Black Desert Resort brand. That content could fuel the public relations for Black Desert Resort. It can fuel the paid media campaigns for Black Desert Resort. And there's so much more depth there than just a catchy headline, a pretty picture, and a call to action. I want to give you a couple more, but why don't you ask me any questions you have about that first pillar?
I want to hear them too, but if I'm Black Desert Resort, a couple questions that I have is, I can see the definite appeal of the content you just described, that one example, but a lot of people who would be interested in that are not going to be within that affluent traveler category. They're not going to be able to either have the interest or the afford of ever coming out and being a guest or a golfer at my resort. So why is it valuable to me to build a big bunch of followers of people who will never come to my resort?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is a percentage of those people will fall within the income bands that Black Desert Resort is targeting. But number two, I've tried to book a tee time at Black Desert Resort. There is limited availability already, which means there's already some people that are booking. Our goal is not necessarily to get immediate bookings. Our goal is to build a brand that is sustainable for the long term. And the great thing about a brand like Black Desert Resort is it's somewhat aspirational, right? So people who can't go play golf at Black Desert Resort, or stay at Black Desert Resort, or spend their anniversary at Black Desert Resort, they can't do that today, but they sure would like to someday. And there's a life cycle of income over the course of people's lives. And if we can get them to aspire to be a part of the Black Desert Resort community early on, that's a guaranteed pipeline on the conveyor belt that will eventually be someone who's in the category that can stay at Black Desert Resort. So we are building a sustainable asset for the future. Not just, okay, I ran the ad and now that money's gone forever. Well, guess what? When you run paid advertising on any platform, you're going to have waste as well. But there's waste that can disappear immediately, which is what's currently happening with most paid media strategies. Or there's something that can put somebody in your pipeline and keep them engaged until they can actually be a customer of your brand. And that's one of the great values that comes with putting content at the center, is we don't even need everybody to transact today. We need as many people as possible in the pipeline and engaged that want to be customers of your brand.
That makes sense. And like you said, depending on the content, how successful it is, it could spin off into possibly other either revenue or just PR related things that don't directly relate to someone coming and staying or booking a booking a time at my golf course. It would just be, yeah, it'd open up other avenues. That makes sense. Okay, I want to hear the other ideas then if you've got them.
Okay, so the other idea, one of the other ideas that I had is like, I don't know if you guys play golf or not, but the thing about golf is kind of the dream for every golfer. While some of them want to get better and shoot par, or some of them want to do this or that, everybody wants a hole-in-one. Like a hole-in-one, it may be the epitome of happiness for a golfer. You can see the reaction in the pros when they get a hole-in-one, even the average Joes when they get a hole-in-one, everybody, you feel like a king, okay? I wouldn't know because I personally have not yet had a true hole-in-one. The terrible thing about my experience is that I did one time hit a ball on the signature hole, Sand Hollow golf course down in St. George, their signature hole, par 3. I hit the ball and I felt like it should have bounced just right to go in the hole, and it didn't. I got mad, dropped another ball, hit it, almost the exact same shot. What does it do? It goes in the hole. Right. So I have a hole-in-one that did not count. It's like it's every golfer's nightmare, and I've experienced it. I don't have a real hole-in-one. I have a fake hole-in-one. But anyway, so
that's a little better than me. I have a mini golf hole-in-one, and that's the extent of my, yeah.
Hey, mini golf hole-in-one's still pretty good. But I know I've been with people who have had holes-in-one, and when they talk about it, it's like the best thing that's ever happened to them, right? And so the idea is they could have a standing at Black Desert Resort, a standing hole-in-one contest, where if you get a hole-in-one at Black Desert Resort, you get to be king for a day, right? And so this is where you get a free 3-night stay with a loved one. You get free dining on site while you're at the resort, 2 free rounds, but you have to allow Black Desert Resort to film and document your entire experience. And basically, it's what should happen when you get a hole-in-one. You're king for a day, and then you learn the backstory of the golfer. Have they ever had a hole-in-one? What's the dynamic of their relationship with the person that they brought down to experience the resort? Where do they dine? What did they order? What did they eat? You document the entire experience, and all of a sudden you have an episodic series of someone who you're basically piggybacking off the happiest moment they've had, with the exception of maybe birth of a child or marriage. If you're a golfer, that is literally like an incredible moment. So to take that moment and amplify it and make a weekend out of it, and give them like a true reward for hitting that hole-in-one, just could really endear people to Black Desert Resort and have more and more people say, oh man, I want to go hit a hole-in-one at Black Desert Resort so I can have that free experience and have it documented and tell my whole story as part of the process. So that was another pillar that I thought would just, man, a content factory that would just fuel all the other activities that Black Desert Resort's doing.
Yeah, I like that. And even the challenge I could see is they don't happen super often, right? So it's not something you'd have a new episode every week necessarily. But if it's just something that when it does happen, you jump on it. You talked about it being such an exciting experience when that happens to you. It's exciting no matter where you are. And if we can, besides the content opportunity, if we can just make a hole-in-one at Black Desert the most exciting of all the hole-in-ones you can have, that alone is like some brand. You can claim that the most exciting place to hole-in-one is Black Desert, because it's more than just a high five and a couple of rounds of drinks at the clubhouse. It's like it would give you something. Yeah.
I mean, if getting a hole-in-one at any course is like one of the best moments of a golfer's life, let's make getting a hole-in-one at Black Desert Resort 10x the value of what a regular hole-in-one would do, right? I think that could be really, really fun, like a really amazing series.
King or queen for a day. Girls can go hole-in-ones too, though. You got to keep that.
You know what's hilarious about that is I've actually got king/queen here in my notes, and I totally screwed it up when I said it.
It's all good.
The other thing that I wanted to say, you said hole-in-ones don't happen very often. Well, there's benefit to that, right? Because maybe Black Desert Resort is only giving away 15 weekends a year out of this, right? Which is not that difficult from an investment perspective. And so I like how rare it is, because it actually creates the exclusivity factor, right? So if you get featured in that and get that opportunity, it's so exclusive, which is exactly what Black Desert Resort is going for.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. Okay. Is there another one you had ready?
Yeah, I've got a couple. So the next one is, and this, I have the benefit of knowing some of this because I had Patrick on my podcast, but Patrick Manning is one of the most interesting visionaries I've had the opportunity to interact with, right? And I think creating a documentary around the Black Desert Resort story could be really, really valuable. If you think about it, we want to know, who is this guy who thought he could create the biggest thing Southern Utah has ever seen? And what gives somebody the stones to do that, right? Like, I think it takes a very special person to even believe they're capable of something like that, right? So what's his backstory? What was the original idea? And then how did it evolve into what it's become from an idea perspective? But then all the challenges and difficulties and frustration that comes along with trying to take that idea and make it a reality. How did he get funding? How did he get somebody to say, yeah, I'll write a, however many $1 million check for you to go create all this stuff? How did he get the politicians to buy into this? Because you had to get even local state politicians to be willing to buy off on this type of a project. How did you even get to the point where you broke ground, on something like this, and then actually show the process of bringing it to life, and then show what it is today, but then also what's it going to become? I mean, I've heard rumors that there's 6 more golf courses in the works down there, right? And that resort is just going to get bigger and bigger and better. And so just having that kind of full entire story for the public to see, I think you couldn't watch the story of Patrick going through that process without being completely endeared to the resort. I mean, one of the things that he's done that is incredible is he's somehow managed to make the water usage at Black Desert Resort one of the most sustainable water. I don't even know how to word it, but his use of water is as sustainable as any resort in the country, maybe more efficiently using water than anywhere in the country. And even that alone could be an entire documentary in and of itself. I see an endless amount of content just in the creation of the Black Desert story and showcasing that for everyone in the world to see. And I honestly think that could inspire people to think bigger in their own ideas, to see what happened with this case. So yeah, it's a little bit more like Black Desert centric, right? Like it's a very, I guess, like not self-aggrandizing, but it's very self-centric video, but I think it's a story the public wants to hear.
Okay. So representing Black Desert again, thinking what their mind might be, I think that this sounds appealing in a lot of ways. I put that in their mouth. They love this idea, by the way. They're eager to do it.
You know what? You're the easiest client I've ever sold, Camden.
But let's think again. So this is something that's not unique to Black Desert. A lot of different brands will say, cool, I think I understand the value of building some content like this, a community, but like I've got a bottom line I've got things I need to make revenue now, and I can't just be waiting for stuff to happen years down the road, or if Peacock picks this up, or if I can get the NBA players out every now and then. Like, how are you going to help me make some sales now, or at least in the coming year, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is where I use the analogy of hunting versus farming, right? I think every brand needs to be doing both. You need to hunt and you need to farm. Hunting, in my mind, is Google pay-per-click ads, it's social ads, it's paid media, right? That's hunting. The problem is most organizations are like 90% hunting, 10% farming. And why? Farming's hard. You have to till the land, you have to water the crops, you have to nurture them while they grow, you have to harvest, you have to do so much, but if you do it correctly, you can fill your silos for the entire winter. And so to me, it's not turn off all your hunting channels. No, continue some of the hunting that you're doing. but let's get a farming strategy going so that for the long term, we don't have to spend the same percentage of our budget on paid media in 5 years that we did at the beginning. Let's build sustainable assets like this content that's going to be evergreen and build intrigue and relationships with the potential audience for years to come, instead of just disappearing the moment the ad runs.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you work for Black Desert Resort as their agency and do some of the stuff you're talking about, would you recommend like that balance? Is that where you recommend 90-10 hunting farming? Is that how budget is divided up? Is that how much of like attention is given? Or how would you, if I wanted you to do all that stuff for me, help me get the content, help me hunt, so to speak, what does that engagement look like with your agency?
Well, I'll answer your two questions in order, I guess, because the first question was budget, right? Mm-hmm. To me, it's all about demand. So if you already have demand for your product, I don't think you need to be running a ton of active paid media hunting campaigns because you're already getting bookings. And again, I go back to, I tried to book some tea times at Black Desert Resort, and this
is what spurred this whole thing, right? You're still bitter about that.
I'm still mad, right? It's so hard. No, actually, their process to do that is incredible. It's just there's a lot of demand, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, that should be a lever that as demand increases, if your bookings are out several months, why would you be running a ton of hunting related tactics? Instead, be farming during that time so that as the economy changes, which inevitably it will, we go through cycles, are you prepared for that downturn, and have you built enough relationships with potential visitors or golfers or whatever you want to call it, that they're going to be able to sustain you through whatever downturn it is, right? So to me,
that's it right there, I think. That's it. What you just said is the main hook, is that Black Desert could say, yeah, thanks for your ideas, but like people are trying to knock down the doors to get in. I'm not hurting for attention right now. Maybe nationwide, it's mostly Utah right now, but like I've got people who are coming. So why would I, need help at all? It's like, well, like you just said, well, not necessarily. You don't need a bunch of paid ads because most of those are going to be clicked on people that either can't, aren't right now, or didn't even mean to click, right? Like, and it's gone. And so the farming of the attention, if someone either isn't interested right now, doesn't have the budget to come right now, or the time or whatever, they're now outside of your circle until they see the next ad, or they remember it again, or they pass by St. George. But if they say, well, let me follow this YouTube channel or this social media channel or this show that they put out or whatever, it keeps them in the system in a way that you don't have to keep continually paying for that attention. And that is appealing to someone who doesn't have attention. Of course, you're building attention, but if you are really having good demand, the only thing that you can really get more of is attention. Mm-hmm. If you only have so many rooms to book, you only have so much, tea times available. But if I have everyone in the world could be paying attention to me and get their turn to come in.
Well, and the afterglow of a brand launch or a PGA event or some of the other things that have happened with Black Desert Resort, the afterglow always wears off. That doesn't mean I personally don't believe that Black Desert is ever going to struggle to get people to book rooms or book tea times or whatever. I think they're going to do a great job with or without us, and what a sales point to make. But I think the real issue here is, why waste your money on hunting activities during the afterglow instead of building sustainable long-term assets for the future, right? So I think that's really important. The other thing that I just want to mention here before we wrap is there is a large segment of people who don't golf that I think need to know that Black Desert Resort is not just a golf resort, right? And so I thought, what if we did a series called Not Golf? Obviously it's a working title, right? But what if we did a series that features, and a lot of this I see as like maybe targeting people that are a little farther down the funnel, right? But the targets of features like dining, but then they also have an incredible partnership with Tuacahn Amphitheater, which is a client of ours, that has literally Broadway level shows in a beautiful canyon in southern Utah that is literally unlike anywhere else in the world. And because of their partnership, they can wrap Tuacahn into their experience. And I think building the non-golf content series could also be really, really valuable, and something that they send out to people who book tee times for their significant other to see and be more, inclined to come visit, or something that they can even send out as part of their email campaigns, basically taking that initial intrigue that may have been tied to golf and now expand it to an entire resort experience. Again, another really good use of a content pillar that could be all not related to golf, allowing us to build the audience beyond just the golfers that are excited about the golf resort.
I like that too, for also being able to, as Black Desert, and endear yourself to the community even more, where you're helping. If people come here, they don't just, it's not like, and I shouldn't diss on Disneyland, but like people don't go visit Anaheim, they visit Disneyland, and they might get lunch on the way out, but people come to Disneyland and then there's food and merchandise, and all the money stays in Disney, right? But then if you go to Black Desert, it's like, but you can go to Tuacahn, you can go to this tour guide that takes you up the canyon for the outdoor thing, you can go to this other really nice restaurant in town as well, and you're bringing money to the area, not just within the walls of your resort or on your greens or anything. So showing content about how you are a real hub for the community. I like that idea.
Yeah,
too.
I'll just say my friend Scott at Visit Anaheim is doing a pretty incredible job of changing that, where Anaheim is much more than just Disneyland. But your point is really well made, Camden.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. Where do I sign? I'm ready to go.
Now we're talking. Let's go. I'll send you a contract today. You just sign it, and you can sign right next to Patrick's name.
I want to say this. Okay, we're gonna tag Black Desert in this, right?
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
Who knows? They may not even watch it. But like, if you're Black Desert and you're watching this right now, what's the message? What's the final sign off on the pitch? What should they do now if they're interested about anything that they heard in this video?
I mean, for one, I'm going back to the dream client scenario. Black Desert is my dream client, that I would love the opportunity to take this concept of building communities through content and show the world how we can do this through Black Desert, because I think Black Desert is an incredible opportunity to create not just like cool ads, because anybody can create cool ads, but we're talking like really in-depth content that builds a relationship with the audience and makes Black Desert Resort sustainable for the long term and impermeable to some of the external challenges that could come.
Entertain people even before and after they've stayed at your location. Like, provide some entertainment, a different kind of entertainment. But yeah, the glow can continue. Cool. All right. Episode 1, video 1, version 1, whatever we want to call this, of Unsolicited RFPs. There's your Black Desert Resort. And if anybody, maybe you're not Black Desert, but if you have a similar situation where you're trying to accomplish similar things, or you have similar issues you're trying to, I guess that's the same thing I just said. Yeah, if this resonates with you at all, hey, Brand Revolt likes to solve these kind of problems, and we'd love to talk to you as well. It's about those 3 C's you talked about. You help build with content, you build communities around that, which then leads to commerce and farming versus hunting. We've got a few different analogies to pull from that now.
Yeah.
So
if you like the way we think, let us go through the same process for your brand.
Ready, break.